Well, again, my name is Lucius.
Kevin.
And we are here because we have a story that we are really excited to share with you.
As most of us do.
Kevin and I have come to believe that stories are one of the most fundamental things about being a person.
They're often more significant, more powerful than reality.
And they are often more true.
Our story is true.
We hope.
For reasons that will become obvious, we have to take some liberties.
Yeah, we have had to make some things up and sort of insert some things and spice some things up here and there.
But our story is true.
Unfortunately.
And how many lies and embellishments would we need to put into it for it to be untrue?
Well, if any at all, then we would say there's no story that's true.
But it is a story, and no one ever said a story needs to be true.
So, like all stories, this one is untrue. Our story, it begins and it ends with Jackson Sallow. Now, who is Jackson Sallow? You may be wondering. The answer is that he is no one. He is of no note. There are no streets named after Jackson. There are no statues built in his honor. He doesn't even have a tombstone. The only thing that honors him, supposedly, is a plaque that is buried deep underground. But nobody, including Kevin or I, has ever reported seeing it.
Jackson is old, and he looks even older. He's hunched nearly perpendicular to the ground. His body is slight, like he never became an adult, but just a very old child. He finds himself wheezing, short of breath, nearly constantly, but for him that's just the way it is. And despite his failing health, he is a diligent worker, the last one left in town. He never leaves his station and has in fact made his place of employ his home, where he keeps a dizzying array of humming machines warm for when there's work for them to do.
He is alone, and he's been that way for, I don't know, who knows how long.
He's lost track of time and here all by himself.
He remembers when the machines were loud and active and his friends toiled on them on either side, and he remembers the sound of the loading dock door rolling open and crates of fresh unrefined ore pouring in by the cartload.
But outside he doesn't recall. He's been in here so long and the windows glazed over so long ago with a brown resin.
A funicular sits in the middle of the factory, descending deep into the earth, swallowed up by darkness. Now, it hasn't moved in who knows how long.
But one day it will move again. It will deliver to him fresh mushrooms, jerkied meat, indiscernible notes, all manner of surprises and gifts, and ore, fresh from the ground and ready for the hungry machines to process into zinc. And on that day, Jackson will be ready.
He sits sometimes on the edge of the funicular, peering into the chasm, just listening.
But nothing. Milling about the works, however, over the morning of machines, he hears a voice.
Boy,
It says,
boy!
"Hello?"
The voice eludes him. Still, it seems to echo off the buzzing metal and reverberate in his very bones.
He knows it's not there because it can't be. He knows every inch of this place. He knows every way in, every way out, and each one of them had been bolted shut for who knows how long.
The only thing is this loading dock door to which a truck seldomly drives up, drops off some supplies for him, and then goes away without making contact. Now, there are two doors from the dock in here, and they're never open at the same time. So if someone or something had gotten in, Jackson should know about it.
Who's there?
Still, the voice eludes him. Still, his head rings and his bones shake. He clenches his fists and he grits his few remaining teeth.
Somehow he knows he must. He finds a sharp scrap of zinc and he begins to etch something. As he digs into the ground, his bones calm, his jaw unclenches, he feels liquid. He can breathe without wheezing and see without squinting. An image appears at the end of his arm.
Boy!
Ah, what? What is that, huh? Who's there? Show yourself!
He glances down at the image on the floor and his hand seizes. Immediately, his bones begin to pinch at that same frequency. He falls face to face with it, carving. His eyes are ready to burst. He grabs the zinc and begins to carve again, and immediately, pain flows through his body. Again, he is liquid.
Carve, etch, draw, whatever form it takes, he must do it. It is the only thing that will keep the pain at bay.
Some of these etchings, they are as small as his hand. Some of them twice the size of his person, and he puts them everywhere. He works until his hand cramps, until it bleeds, and then he just uses the other hand. He covers every square inch of wall, floor, machinery, seat, glass, everything he can with this image.
After who knows how long, he stands in awe of the mural. He is spewed all over the factory. He feels that pain well up in his arm as his eyes drift up to the enormous bare ceiling. He pulls together chairs and benches and devises a makeshift scaffolding, climbs to the top and lays on his back just inches from it, drawing huge figures over the breadth of the ceiling. He works until he sleeps. He wakes, he works again.
His hand is shaking as that last line meets the first, and the image is done. He climbs down, disassembles his scaffolding, wipes his sweaty brow, and he gazes up at the enormous elephant hanging above him. Boy!
Huh? What is that, huh?
Don't you know me, boy?
I can't see you.
Well, you're not looking.
You!
Me?
But, you're dead.
Yes, I am.
How are you? How can you? Am I dead?
You're close.
Out. Get out of here. No elephants allowed. Go on, get.
It's coming, you can feel it.
When you speak, when we speak, the pain.
It goes.
Even my back, I can. And. What is this?
Well, I don't have any answers for you, Jackson.
Why are you here?
I'm not. I'm dead. I've been dead. You were there. You remember?
I don't know.
Well, if you didn't, I wouldn't be here. Tell me, what do you remember?
You killed my dad.
Yes, that's right. What else?
You put the watermelon on the clown's head?
Yes, that's right. What else? What about my name?
Terrapin.
No, my name.
I don't remember.
You're lying, Jackson. You never forgot my name, just as you never forgot my trunk or my trumpet.
No, don't!
What is my name?
Mary! Mary the Magnificent!
The pleasure, it's all yours.
I hate you.
Oh,
I hate you so much.
well, I'm not really here.
But you'll stay?
Why are you here?
I live here.
No, yes, but why are you here?
Are you deaf? I live here!
Yes, but what brought you here?
My work. This is my work.
But what brought you here?
I don't understand.
Oh, God, don't understand? You figure it out, or else I go and I leave you with all your pain.
Well, I was brought here by my duty. My duty to do my part. My duty to fill my stomach.
That's it?
Well, and my mom's and my sister's. That was the reason. That was the reason. Is that good? No, wait, don't! It's too much! I don't know what else to do!
Now that is better, that answer.
What?
I don't know. That's thorough, that's thoughtful, and that's concise.
What?
Give me more.
More?
Yes, I insist.
What?
Here, come. I'll help. Shh. Shh.
I'm 12. Alice, my big sister, is holding me in bed.
It's okay. You're okay.
In the next room, yelling, screaming, cursing. It's terror in there. Cries of pain from Mom and grunts and fury from Dad. Dinner tables scraping against the floor, plates shattering.
It's okay. You're okay.
A loud thud. And silence. Mom says,
Get out, Daniel. Oh, you lousy drunk. Get the hell out of my house!
and then loud footsteps to the door. It opens, slams shut. The whole house shakes.
It's okay.
Through the window, a shadow stomps to the shed, unlocks it, goes inside, closes door. And a thud, and another, and something metal tinking, and more. With each thud, the wood warps the firelight, spilling out between the cracks, making the whole thing look like some monster chained to the earth, struggling to dig itself out.
Okay, you're all right. All right.
My eyes close. I remember I had this dream.
I still have it. Is this the first time? I'm surrounded by people, family, I think, friends too, maybe. Their backs are turned. There's something in front of me. Something enormous, all shadows, can't even see all of it. It's calling to me. What was that?
It's nothing. Keep going.
I'm sinking. This figure, this shadow is staring at me, and its stare is pressing me into the earth, up to my knees, up to my hips, up to my shoulders. I can't dig myself out. It's up to my neck. I crane my neck. The figure is black, blending into the black sky. Dirt starts pouring into my mouth. And, oh! Ellis! What the hell did you do that for? You
Look, the circus came to town this morning, and they brought an elephant.
Oh my God!
That was me.
I know that.
What woke you? What jolted you awake? That was me trumpeting in my car. Now, we always made a big entrance wherever we went. You know, get more people into the seats, all part of the show. You slept through it.
I was there that night, though.
Yes, I remember.
I snuck out with Ellis. Mom didn't want us to go.
Well, your sister, your father, he's so drunk, your mother didn't want your sister to be seen with him.
Ellis, get your stuff. We're going to the circus.
Well, Mom said...
I don't give a damn what Mom said. I'm not letting her stand between me and the best night of my life. Are you with me?
I don't know.
Yes, you do. Are you with me?
And you are out the window.
And in the front row of the circus, sitting right next to the ring on the ground. Dad stumbles in, nearly sees us. Ellis tugs us under some stands over here. There's a bunch of kids down here playing games, sneaking around, tying people's shoelaces together.
Do you remember the show?
I remember the fat man coming out.
Roger!
And giving some speech.
Forgive me that I'm late. It is oh so rude to make you wait.
This circus magic, it is not free. These tricks, nay, feats, strange e'en to me. Traveling was I through the wildest land, conjured by a wizard, then led by the hand, searching with wonders or with you to share. Giants, mole men, maids with blue hair. Girls strong as horses, boys light as rain, with faces of nails, each struck without pain. Maddest clowns with reddest noses, boneless boys in unnatural poses, the savage beasts of the untamed world, teeth razor-sharp, tongues quite unfurled, as small as fleas. Squint your eyes to see. But one, large as titans, gods, or e'en eternity.
And that sound from behind the curtain, that shrieking horn, that was you.
That was me.
And you emerged.
Well, there are 75 minutes of show before I appear.
Oh, sure. Maybe. I just remember you, larger than the sky, larger than you are now, and you. Well, the crowd.
The crowd is floored by the sight of me. Small towns like this, they always are. My scene partner, Lucius, he always used to envy the ease with which I captured the audience. Now, he worked his whole life. He developed myriad tricks and feats just to capture a single breath. All I had to do was be. I toss Galoots off stage left, I take my bow, and then a boy.
Yes.
He breaks away from the crowd under the bleachers and he walks towards me like he's in some kind of trance.
And I find myself in the ring next to you.
Yes.
I hug your,
my trunk.
Yes, and you startled.
Well, it's not part of the show and everybody knows
And
it.
you jump a little, lifting me off the ground, and I just hold tight.
The audience is terrified by the sight of me. There are eyes behind fingers, nails between teeth. Nobody breathes. Suspension. And then you say...
I didn't say anything.
You said, I love you, Mary. So I pick you up, I plop you on my back, and we go for a little walk all the way around the circus ring.
The crowd goes wild!
It's the biggest applause of the night.
Dad sees me. I see him see me. Gets up, steps on people, stumbles into the ring.
Oh, I can still smell him.
Me too.
I take you off my back and you dart out of the way.
And then he finds himself in the spotlight next to you.
Where's Roger?
He slaps you. He slaps you right on your trunk. Give me a ride, old girl.
The audience shifts.
Hey! I want a damn element ride,
I
damn
start
it.
to
He
leave.
pulls out his revolver and fires it into the
The
air.
crowd jumps.
The bleachers strain.
And he is waving this thing around with a limp wrist at the audience. He spins around and then
He crack.
the bullet enters here, tearing through my face and exiting my eye. I can't see on this side and my ears are ringing.
You're stumbling, howling.
I do not howl.
You howled.
He hits me again.
Come on now.
I take his legs out with my trunk. He falls flat. I bring my head down. And I unsheathe my tusks from the dirt.
Your face is covered in gore.
There are screams.
The fat man, he arrives, but you just swipe him aside into the bleachers over here, which collapse beneath him.
No, it's pandemonium. Now, I have to get out. I do. So I just charge right out of there. I mean, to hell with anyone stupid enough to be in my way. I charge out of there. I bring the whole thing down with me. The night breeze cools my fiery eye. I take off my headdress and I fling it into the dirt. And then I disappear into the woods.
People are screaming, scrambling. I can hear my sister under the bleachers. People above her are tripping over themselves, their shoelaces tied together. I try to lift it. It's too heavy. But others join, and we lift it. We carry them all out of there and put them on the grass outside. Some writhing, some crying, some not moving at all.
Your mother comes running. The first thing she sees is your sister Ellis being treated by Dr. Vertano on the ground. You run to her and you jump in her arms.
I'm so sorry, Mom. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Mom. I'm so sorry.
Shh, are you okay? She comforts you until you're calm. And then she sits you down next to your sister. And she puts her hand into yours.
Mom walks into the tent, right up to the center of the ring, and stares down into the face of her husband pancaked in the dirt.
I make my way through the dark woods towards the sound of water. And I find the river and I bathe in it. I wash my face clean from the blood and I pick the debris from my eye, stopping it up with grass and with leaves. I see the tree. I know the tree. I make my way towards it, and when I arrive, I kneel at its feet, feasting on moonlight, bathing in the stars.
Lucius,
Yes?
we need to take a moment to tell everyone where we are.
Oh, yes, sure. Well, we're in a tiny town that's called IRVINVILLE.
Right, it's nestled in a little hill valley in that space where the mountains are not quite mountains yet.
There's a river that runs through it, the Hayes, and there is this tree.
The Methuselah tree.
Definitely the most interesting thing about IRVINVILLE.
It's this enormous freak tree standing on the top of a hill overlooking the town, dwarfing every other tree for miles, completely out of place.
Now, who knows how old it was or how it got so big?
When Hayes Irvin was searching for a place to found a town in the late 1700s, he came upon this tree, and he took it as a sign that this is where he belonged.
And just like that, IRVINVILLE was founded. And for years, this was the draw. People would come to the town to see the tree and to touch it.
Hayes was absolute in his belief in the tree, saying, quote, "It held up the very sky."
Outside of that, nothing very interesting happens in IRVINVILLE for about 100 years, until there were a number of people.
92, to be exact.
Yes, there were 92 people who were lost in a mine collapse.
Well, technically we don't know how many of them were killed in the initial collapse.
But given the fact that they sealed the entrance to the mine mine off so quickly after it collapsed, it is possible.
It's in fact very likely.
It's very likely that there were people who were still alive inside. A plaque was erected on that spot. It says April 18th, 1888. The Massey mine, it collapsed, entombing 92 souls within. They worked for a living and it killed them. They are gone, but their spirits live on in the memory of IRVINVILLE.
IRVINVILLE became known as the town where 92 working men and women, some as young as 9, were buried alive.
And just like that, nobody wanted to go to IRVINVILLE. Traveling salesmen, revival shows, that kind of thing. Which is why it was such a big deal when the circus arrived on the morning train.
And such a dreadful portent when things went as they did.
Mayor Mervyn Blurgis. He was horrified by what he saw. Now, often mocked as a man of weak constitution, Mayor Blurgis, he put in an appearance at the accident site just long enough to make a good impression before retreating to the safety of his office, where he promptly threw up in his wastebasket.
They're out there. They're out there and they're coming for me. For me to fix this. It's not my problem. I can just stay in here. Yeah. I can barricade the door and be extra quiet. Shh. Don't even breathe. 7 years I've held my breath in this very room. What's changed? Nothing. Not a damn thing. Not a damn hell son of a bitchin' thing. They're in here. They're out there. I sign my name once or twice. I wave through my little window. I give a nod. No problem. No problem at all. How did you? Well, you're the circus man, aren't you, Roger? How did you get in here?
How long have you been there?
Get out of my chair! Breaking and entering is a crime, you know. I could have you arrested. Now, what can I do for you, sir? What do you have to say for yourself?
What?
I hope you're happy. You brought your little show here and gave these folks a night they won't ever forget. Congratulations.
First and foremost, I want to apologize for what has happened.
Damn right.
I know nothing that my staff and I can do can really make it right.
That's right.
But we stand ready to assist you in any way we can.
Just some teeth knocked out of you?
Yeah.
Oh, poor you. An elephant pulverizes a man, breaks a 13-year-old's neck, cripples who knows how many others, and it knocks out a couple of your poor little teeth.
It wasn't Mary.
Mary?
Never mind. We stand ready to help you in any way we can. Just say the word.
Great.
But one thing, we will not help you kill her.
The people of this town do as they see fit.
Oh, please don't let that happen.
You think I control these people?
Oh, no, please.
Buddy, it ain't up to me. These people want vengeance. They're gonna get it. I mean, they deserve it, don't they? Don't they? Best thing you can do is get out there and twirl around a little more, hit yourself on the head with a tack hammer a couple times, try to make a few people smile. You've wasted my time completely. Good day.
We've made a mess of your town, sir. It's true. But for now, on with the show. So forth. Now, adieu.
And Roger left. But almost as a revolving door, Charles Bidmer burst in, carrying outstretched in his hand a newspaper.
Extra. Read all about it. Chaotic carnival claims casualties.
What is this?
This is tomorrow's paper. That's the front page. I thought you'd want to see it.
Evening of the Tusk Moon?
I've sent these to my subscribers all the way from here to Pittsburgh.
You got subscribers in Pittsburgh?
I have a few.
Okay.
Yes, but I'm going to have more.
At least you ain't got a picture.
A story like this, there's always going to be more. I mean, this is history, Merv. This is history that we're living through. I mean, not just now or last night, but what's to come. You, me, whole town's a part of it. I've already got this framed on the wall of my museum. We are gonna put the IRVINVILLE township back on the map.
We?
Yeah, Merv, you and me.
You know how to tie a noose?
What?
Cause the gun already gone and built the gallows, boy! Can't you see I'm ruined? This is gonna bury me! No more mayor! Hell won't even be able to get a comptroller position in Spitfield. I'm finished!
Oh, take it easy,
Get
Merv.
out!
Oh, did you want something?
Out! You rat-faced, muck-raking bastard! Out!
Oh, you don't mean that.
Out!
And Winmer left.
And you misspelled tragedy, you idiot!
But before he could take a breath, Bartholomew Blick was at his desk opening a bottle of champagne. Merv, did you see the papers?
I skimmed it.
Ah, this is spectacular stuff. I mean, not what happened, that's a tragedy and that's a disgrace, but this story. That Winmer is a genius. This is going to get the attention of the entire country.
Sure will.
An elephant on the loose in small town America? Personally, I'm terrified. I mean, that thing is still out there. It's still looming, but reading this, I want to know what happens next. Too bad there's no picture. Nothing makes a story pop like a good picture. Still, it's spectacular stuff. We're going to be famous.
Like John Wilkes Booth famous?
What are you talking about?
Who the hell in this country gets killed by an elephant? The people of IRVINVILLE, that's who! That's who! Because Mayor Dingbat allows it!
Oh, no, Merv, you really are going about this the wrong way. If you play this right, you'll be set for life. Now, what are you going to do?
Kill it.
No, Merv, that's the wrong answer. That's exactly what you're not going to do. Look, if you go out there with your pitchforks and your torches and you kill it somewhere out in the woods, then that's it. That's it. There's nothing for nobody. But you demand order. You promote peace. You let that thing be in the woods for a while, keep the story in the minds of the country. Sooner or later, someone will want to help. They'll offer aid in any way they can.
Well, money?
No.
Like charity?
No. Economy.
Zinc?
You want me to let that monster terrorize this town so you can sell zinc?
It's not for me, Merv. It's for us. More zinc means more employees, more jobs, more wealth, pardon me. Not just for me or for you, but for the town, the people of the town. And not just now, but for generations to come. Now this is roads, schools, plumbing, electricity, cooling. This is free advertising on an unprecedented level. Surely any politician worth his salt could see that.
They're gonna come after me, Bart. Calling on me, threatening me, blaming me for the elephant.
It's your fault my son is dead. You made me a widow.
Why don't you do something, you feckless, two-faced coward? Blood on your hands, Burgess. Blood!
I can't. I don't have the...
People might die, that's plain as day.
Well, people die every day, Merv. That's not on you. And, for every life lost, tens, hundreds, maybe thousands will be spared down the road. And those lives will be of a higher quality, too. Now, it takes a great man to make a tough decision. I know you won't let
But
me
I'm
down,
not a
buddy.
great man. Winmer was right. His story, The Evening of the Tusked Moon, captured the hearts and minds of half the nation.
Suddenly, everyone in America is talking about this strange little town that's being besieged by an elephant under a giant cursed tree. Good evening, young man. Your hand's bleeding. Oh, stop that, Jackson. I said quit it. Come on now. Just listen. Your sister has been very badly hurt.
Let me go,
Jackson,
Doc.
wait, it's going to change things taking care of her.
I'll stop you if you don't let me
Oh,
go.
you won't, will you?
Let me
Because
go.
you're strong. strong, right, young man?
Okay.
Yes, it hurts. It hurts. Yes, but you're strong, right? You're going to be okay. Now, let's make a deal. I'm gonna let you go, and you're not gonna move your hands. We're gonna let that iodine do its work, and it's not gonna hurt you. And then I'll show you something special. Is that a deal?
Deal.
Do you know what this is?
Some sort of wrench?
No. This is it's called a trephine. Do you know what it's for? I've had this with me since, gosh,
Opening bottles?
Civil War. No, it's out this end here. You use it to dig a hole through the skull to relieve swelling of the brain.
Whoa.
Or to extract a piece of bad flesh.
Gross.
I used this trephine on myself at the Battle of Antietam.
What?
Yeah, I was a boy. I was barely older than you, and the soldier in front of me is Corporal Henry Garrett. He took a cannonball to the chest. He was knocked backwards, his head smashed into mine right here. Now I was all banged up. I was concussed. You know what that means, Jackson?
Yeah.
Well, men were dying all around me, and I was one of only a handful of doctors. Now I didn't hesitate, because people needed me. In my half-blind state, I took this trephine and I dug a hole through my skull right here. Yeah. I've carried this with me ever since. Here. You keep it.
Really?
How's the hand?
Better.
Good morning, young man. Is your mother home?
Who the hell are you?
I'm Bartholomew Blake.
Well? Who the hell are you?
Who are you holding up?
Fine.
Good.
What do you mean?
Mrs. Sallow, I presume.
Jackson, go look after your sister.
Now!
Who are you?
Bartholomew Blake, Mrs. Sallow.
It's Ms. now.
Ms. Sallow, I run the zinc works.
What do you want?
Well, it's not what I want, it's what I can offer. You see, I heard about what happened at the, I was witness to what befell at the, I was at the circus the other night, and I can imagine that you and your family are in a volatile place right now.
Volatile.
Yes, considering what happened to your husband.
Are you referring to him getting crushed by an elephant?
Yes, I thought you would be upset.
Mr. Blake, I got no job, no prospects, barely any money left, 2 kids, one in real bad shape, and money ain't free. And for the, medicine ain't free, and for the first time in years, I've got a care in the world.
Well, that certainly will not last.
Of course it will. So, what's your pitch?
Nails?
Nail?
Yes. No building, no structure, no society can be built without nails. Now, recent leaps in the industrialization process have exploded the demand for the basic building products of societies. I have developed
Get to it.
I am expanding the operation at the Zinc Works. I'd like to offer you and your family jobs.
Doing what?
Doing whatever you feel comfortable doing. You see, Miss Sallow, yours is the first house that I've come to. I have several positions that need filling, from the factory floor to a desk right outside my office.
And I come running in from the other room. I want a job, Mr. Blake. I want to work.
You do? You want to be part of a team and learn some responsibility?
Yes, sir. I want to help out Mom and Ellis. Oh, please, Mom. Please.
Take time to think it over, Miss Sallow, but I will be filling positions in the interim.
You're opening up the mine, ain't you?
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah. I heard you bought the deed and figured it was only a matter of time. I don't see nothing better coming round. Nothing in the mine for him, though. You hear me?
Of course.
Just slot me in wherever you reckon I'll be the most help.
Can you read?
I can.
Well, then I'll give you some administrative work at that desk outside my office.
That's fine.
And your daughter.
Can decide when she gets better.
Of course. Take care, Miss Sallow, and it was a true pleasure meeting you, young man.
We started work 1 week later, but the very next day they opened up the mine. People was all over the place. Everyone was there. Men with guns were standing all around, keeping one eye on the mine, one eye on the woods, listening, real jumpy. That was the first time I ever saw Bugface in person.
Ooh,
I
Bugface.
had Blick hired him to open the mine. He had experience with explosives or something, mining, something digging from the war. Real hero. And I see him standing in the middle of everyone. He's got Blick right behind him, and he's waving like a damn maniac. Back! Get back, everyone!
Luke, we're on a schedule here.
Everyone back up 50 meters at least!
They don't use meters, Luke.
Wait, these people shouldn't be here. Don't they have anything better to do? Go home!
I
Please!
invited them.
Mr. Blick, if they're gonna be here, they need to move back at least to the tree line.
Well, they're scared to go close to the trees, Luke.
Move them back, or you can find someone else to do your dirty work.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today on what I would describe as the quintessential IRVINVILLE day. We are just about ready to get started, but before we do, if we could just ask you all to scoot back. I see some of you have your picnic baskets and whatnot set up. I do really hate to ask you the inconvenience, but if you could scoot back to just before the tree line, we can get things started. We humbly thank you for your cooperation. You're on, Pendergrass.
And he walks up to the mine, and he plants some dynamite or something, runs back for cover with Mr. Blake, and boom!
Is it safe?
Not at all.
Pendergrass.
Yes.
What's
Yes,
the
sir.
matter, Pendergrass? Are you afraid of the dark?
Yes, sir.
Well, fear is a weapon. You either use it or it will use you. Now, you are going to...
Go in there and examine the structural integrity.
But why?
To keep the workers safe from collapse.
Why you?
Because I'm the only one who can.
And so...
And so I must.
That's a damn fine answer, Pendergrass.
Take it from here, sir.
And he walks up into the mine, and it's just swallowed up by the darkness. Boom! I don't know what he saw in there. Maybe what was left of those 90 or so people from 88, maybe nothing at all, but all of a sudden there's this sound, this bellowing, sort of shrill, I don't even know.
I remember after the explosion there was another sound that rang out through the hills. It was different. It was guttural.
Yeah, piercing.
Yes, it silenced the forest itself.
I still hear it sometimes.
It's never left me.
And then it starts to shrink.
Until it disappears.
And he comes
completely.
running out the mine, howling away. His face is beet red, his tongue is hanging out of his mouth, flapping in the wind like a dog's tongue. His eyes are bugging out of his head, face of horrors, soaking wet. He comes sprinting out of the mine, and Blick has to wrestle him to the ground.
It's just Luke!
But
Wait!
he's gone in that moment, smelling of pissy shit and gasoline, drenched in darkness with dirt falling all around him, getting into the back of his shirt, driving him crazy, into his neck like an itch that can't...
Luke! Luke, you're okay, right? Oh, you're okay?
Yes, I'm fine.
And then there was another rumble, this one loud and close.
The mine collapses. He helps Blick to his feet, dusts him off, and he's laughing at the man.
You still have a job to do.
Yes, sir, I do.
So he walks in there, he plants some charges, he blows the whole thing wide
It was
open.
fully operational 1 week later.
You were spared work in the mine, though.
Yeah, I could have handled it.
Oh, fine. Not afraid of the dark.
Why should I be? Scariest things I ever saw was on the lights.
Oh, yes, I suppose me too.
I was working on the floor right over here, separating out the good usable ore from the detritus.
Making good use of your skills.
Man's gotta do what a man's gotta do.
I suppose.
I was risking my life every day for the great IRVINVILLE.
Risking your life?
Sure. People get hurt in here all the time, Mary. People die. Don't need no mine collapse when you got 6-ton carts of ore wheeling about and conveyor belts or the grinder or the smelter. Right here. Right on this spot. Joshua Stallings. Cart of ore fell over, crushed his leg, had to amputate. Couldn't work no more. Louis Fosberger. Electrocuted, changing a light bulb. Zapped up on a ladder, fell, hit his head, never quite the same. Couldn't work no more. Melissa Salk.
Oh.
She was the first. Melissa Salk 1 year older than me, 13. She had a braid. Somehow got caught in the grinder. Just like that.
Not the last.
No, far from it. We were sent home that day. The whole place was closed. Mr. Blick saw to it that it was. I wasn't supposed to, but I stuck around, hid myself behind some barrels right over here. Everyone's gone. Not a moment sooner, Mr. Blick comes out of his office and makes his way down the stairs to where the grinder pours out into the cart right over there. He adjusts his tie, combs his few remaining hairs, takes a deep breath, and stares long and hard into the cart.
This is part of it. This is all part of it, Bart. This is the cost. What's always been the cost? Think about the pyramids. Tens, hundreds, maybe thousands of people killed building those. Crushed under stones or in between stones or baked alive in the sun. They weren't even paid. Melissa Salk was a paid employee of the IRVINVILLE Zinc Works. I remember the day you were hired. I'd shut it all down in a second. I'd abandon it all in an instant, Melissa, if that meant no more suffering. But you and I both know that I can't do that. There are too many people in this town who depend on us. On me. On all of us. Suffering will be perpetuated if I delay one day more. The zinc must flow. This is the cost. Next time I won't be able to shut everything down and send everyone home. I wish. The ore you have been spread throughout will be processed, and your remains will be sublimated into gases that will pour forth from our smokestacks, and the people of this town will breathe you in. Your ashes will sink in our water and fertilize our soil, and the people of this town will eat and drink of you. Your body will be entered into the zinc, and you will become part of all the great machinery that will move this country forward to a place where no one, not another soul, Melissa, will be lost for our progress. Yes, we'll get there. Melissa Salk, I now commit your remains to the furnace.
Meanwhile, Mary, you're out in the woods killing people for fun.
What, for fun?
Yeah, that guy missing most of his top teeth,
You don't remember his name.
it'll come to me.
I remember.
Well, him. You pulverized his body to a pulp.
Yes, he came to me in the forest. He came with a shotgun and a bowie knife with tears in his eyes. And I let him sneak up right next to me. I let him think he had the drop on me. Before I turned and I looked at him with my good eye, and he stood stock still, mouth slung, soiled himself.
Don't say that.
Well then, Jackson, what was his name? Yes, there was shit in his pants, and there was piss streaming into his boot, and I had done nothing. You understand, right? I did nothing, and then he raised his gun, and I had no choice.
Yeah, just kill him.
Well, I could have, but I wanted to play first, so I snatched the gun away and snapped it in two like a twig. He started to run.
Then you could have let him.
Could have, didn't want to. I grabbed him by the leg and I sent him spinning into the air like nothing. And then kerplunk, like nothing. Now, I will hand it to him. He got to his feet, he got his knife out, he's all bloody, he's moaning like an idiot. I pushed him. And he flew back into the knot of a tree, spine first. Crash! Woo! And how he braved!
Stop.
Now, he was in agony now. I could see it, and every little inch that he moved, it flooded him with pain.
Stop this.
A little poke here, a little pinch there, and just screams of agony.
That's enough.
No, these are sounds that you don't hear over your machines, but they are common enough in the forest.
Mary, please.
Shh! I spoke to him. He used no words, but I could understand him. He begged, and he pleaded, and he cried. And I played. I put my foot on his chest, just long enough to make him think that release was coming before I backed off. Until I bored of that, and then I just flung him into a tree. Till I bored of that as well.
Herman Heflin, that's his name.
That was his name.
Is his name, and he was bereaved, you animal.
Oh.
His wife had been paralyzed, and take one guess why. Because a 300-pound circus ringleader was flung at her by a psycho elephant. And he was stricken with grief.
Oh, grief. All right. Imagine that you all have a bedridden wife in desperate need of medical care. What does one do? Abandon the wife, take up arms, and seek out a vastly stronger foe. And you call that grief? It would have been easy to remain by her side.
It isn't easy.
Well, it would have been easier. But to plot and to plan and to go traipsing into the woods in search of some sort of cosmic justice, that's not grief. That is something else entirely. That is something that is distinctly
What?
human.
Yeah, and what do you call throwing his body into the church that people took refuge from you in and bringing the whole place down and trampling on the timbers?
Well, I call that a message in a language that most people understand.
We're not perfect. That's not what I'm saying, but we don't go around stomping on each other's heads and banging each other against trees. We don't go around eating our own kind, and when somebody is hurt or somebody dies, we honor them.
Like your father?
My father was a piece of shit, Mary. Do I make myself clear? Anything living, be it a drunk asshole or a maniac elephant, when it goes well out of its way to cause suffering in others, it becomes a monster. He was a monster. You are a monster. Monsters ain't got lives, so they tried taking them.
Was I born a monster?
I don't know. I don't know what you got.
No, my point, if I wasn't, and if I became one along the way, does that mean I lost my life?
Maybe you just became what you always was.
Well, no, by force.
I got all the ingredients in me, Mary, to make a perfect monster, okay? I got my asshole dad, I got my loudmouth crazy mom, and I lost Ellis and Hannah and the baby. I've been tired, I've been poor, I've had nightmares, I've had terrors, and I've had you! And am I a monster, huh? Am I? Answer me.
Oh. Yes. You're a monster.
Mom?
Yes, Jackson.
Is that elephant gonna kill us?
Oh, no, Jackson.
I hear it sometimes. I hear it stomping through the woods, and I hear it blowing its horn.
I hear it too.
How do you know it won't kill us?
Because I'm not going to let that happen.
The mayor said it wouldn't happen, and look at all those people trampled in the church.
Well, Jackson, the mayor is an idiot.
I heard that the elephant was going to keep coming back until everyone in town was dead.
Who told you that?
James.
Who's James?
He works next to me.
Is he your age?
He's a little older, he's 13.
Oh. Well, don't listen to him. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Why?
Why what?
Why doesn't he know what he's talking about?
Because,
Because he's a kid? I'm a kid, does that mean I don't know what I'm talking about?
No.
Am I an idiot?
No.
He could kill Dad, he could kill us.
No, James.
I'm not asking you. It could kill us.
Yeah, that could happen. But I'm not gonna let that happen. I'm gonna look out for you. Okay, I'm gonna look out for you. And do not let anyone call you an idiot. You were afraid of me!
Just because I thought you might kill me doesn't mean I was afraid.
Oh! He's a liar!
No! I'd spent every moment of my life up to that point terrified. Suddenly the thing that scared me the most was squashed.
There is no shame in fear.
Yeah, and what do you fear?
Well, I don't fear anything anymore.
Well, yeah, but what about when we was killing you?
No, I was more afraid about what you would do to my friends on my account. Like Galoots.
Right. All your friends are freak shows.
Well, he would sneak out of town at night and he would visit me in the forest and he'd bring me fruits and vegetables. We'd sit together under the canopy of the tree and he'd spend a couple nights there. We'd spell our names and constellations and he would talk and talk and talk and...
I was thinking, Mary, the next time that we do our trick, perhaps you could try, after you get the watermelon on my head, flinging me up into the air so that I could, land on my feet. And then we could take a bow together. Now, if we practice it, I think it should be fine. And if something goes wrong, I will have a watermelon husk for a helmet. Oh, it should be fine. It should be fine. They're scared, Mary. The circus, then the funeral, then the church. They wrote about the church in the paper. They called it the Silent Night, which didn't make sense to me because it was during the day and it was very loud. They're all so scared. The tunnel guy, Luke Pendergrass, he's digging people these emergency basements and bunkers. Roger, he was just walking down the street the other day. This guy came up with a table leg and he just started hitting him. And Roger, he took a couple hits and then he just scrapped it out of the guy's hand and bit it in half. He's all busted up about it. I mean, he tries not to let it show. The show must go on. But, if you saw him, you could tell. It's not good, Mary. It's bad, in fact. I mean, everyone's so tense. They are so tense and uptight. There are men in the street with guns. And everywhere I go, people are looking at me from behind their blinds, or they're throwing things at me, or they just come up and they hit me. I mean, this other day, this guy ran up and he clocked me right here behind the ear. And Roger, he says, "No retaliations." But I swear, I could have socked that guy in the next week. But don't you worry. You just stay out here, and you'll be good. And sooner or later, it'll all blow over. Although if you do feel the need to run, Mary, you run and you don't look back. Oh, Mary! Right, that eye! It's looking terrible. And I said I would bring you something for it from the doctor. I plumb forgot. I won't forget again. What? I won't forget again. They opened up the mine, Mary. 92 skeletons they found inside. And they didn't bother sorting them or anything. They just went right to work. Makes you wonder what the world would be like without people like us. As if it needed to be more frightening.
That's sweet, Mary. You and the clown off canoodling in the woods, pausing everything to just stop the world for yourselves because you need it.
You need
everyone to know your name and to gasp when you enter a room and to go, "Oh my!" It's pathetic. And you thought you could come here to IRVINVILLE and then you would stop time or something and we would fall all over you. But you came and you killed, and you know what happened? We went back to work and living our lives in the shadow of the terrapin. Take the mayor. Suddenly he's got half the town breathing down his neck. I see him sometimes getting chased down the street by angry hordes of people. They come to his office, they come to his home. What's a man supposed to do when he's about to burst, huh? Take a little time off. Get away from it all for a while. Maybe some fresh air. Perhaps a little hike up the Hayes River and a little canoe back to town.
Oh, that was your bear.
That's right. Now, I'm squeezed between a couple of colleagues, smoking a cigarette, leaning out a window at the work, staring across the river at the one-eyed elephant spraying water all over itself.
I am taking great pains to wash my wound, but it's not working. The water is slick, it's prismatic, and it slides off my skin like slime.
And who should round a bend in the river but the mayor and some buddies in a couple canoes?
They surprised me.
Who do you think was more surprised?
Well, I'm not sure it matters. One of them stood up and fired a gun at me.
And what did you do?
Well, the bullet, it ricocheted off my tusk, the canoe flipped over, they went in the water, and I did what anyone would do.
Not anyone.
I marched down there, I got into the water, I wrapped my trunk around his middle, and I held him under there till he stopped breathing. It was easy.
Easy.
I'd say it was natural.
And Burgess and some of the others scrambled for cover in the zinc works.
Well, not all. One just stood there, open-mouthed, staring at me like he was waiting his turn. So I obliged him.
Burgess and the others, they burst into the zinc works, scrambling, soaking wet, slipping all over the place. Hello? Can we get... Hello? But we're still staring out the window at the one-eyed elephant. Can we get some sort of assistance? So, I walk over to him, huffing and puffing. You're the mayor, right? Of course I am. Ah, Burgess? Burgess! I poke him with my finger. Thick strings of gooey water slink to the floor. I rub my thumb and index finger together and pull them apart. Again, thick, snot-like strings of goo. My mom says you're an idiot. Yeah, well, she's right. I take a puff of my cigarette, and the cherry jumps to my fingers and ignites. Whoosh! Blue flames at the end of my fingers. I shake them out before they can burn me. Huh? Smoke?
Foosh!
The window's clear. I'm knocked down by the blast.
Lucius, he's screaming, engulfed in flames, and he's tearing at his clothes.
Slick emerges from his office there, throws a stack of papers into the air, jumps down the catwalk, grabs Burgess in a bear hug, and throws the two of them into a vat of blood. First, gasping for air, he pulls Burgess out by the neck. He's already screaming. Yeah! He crawls from the tub. His clothes have all burned off or burned to him. He's pink and patchy, hairless, naked save for his leather boots. He crawls along the floor, leaving a wet trail. Somebody grabs a scoop of runoff from the machines and smears it on his back. More. He smears more on his neck, on his shoulders. More. And they coat his whole body with the stuff until he stands up and marches naked and determined out the front door through the mud into the midday sun on his perfect feet. Heat spilling upwards off of him. He vanishes into the light like a mirage.
Roger is summoned to the mayor's office that night. He is shoved through the door to find Burgess, naked, except for his boots and a sock covering his genitals. And he's covering his skin with a nasty-smelling salve from an old coffee tin.
Roger!
You wanted to see me?
Sure did.
What?
Happened to me. Just set on fire, whole body. Boosh! How's your morning? That's great, Rod. Just great. This is your elephant's fault.
Mary?
Your elephant.
Mary set you on fire?
Who the hell is Mary?
The elephant?
No! The elephant has no name.
I can see you are upset.
Oh, you can see that.
Back another day.
You know, I've been asking myself, Raj, with this new me, this fresh Merv, how am I going to go about my day, huh? I mean, everything hurts, Raj. Everything. Can't touch anything, clothes, nothing. Can't even go out in the sun, feels like I'm still on fire. And there's not a damn thing that does a damn thing except for this sound.
Oh.
This runoff from zinc production. Turns me into some amphibious monster, sure, and smells like old shrimp. How am I gonna sleep? Wife's not gonna let me anywhere near the bed, first of all, but the pain of lying down, forget about it.
I can see that the elephant has gone too far and must be eliminated.
What's that?
At first I was foolishly on the side of peace, but that time has come and gone, and now the elephant, we must get rid of the elephant.
I'm a little fuzzy on what you're talking about, Raj. Get rid of? Send off to another town? Is that what you mean? Merritt? Hallsborough?
Disposed of?
Like garbage. Put in a bin and set aside in its own space.
Oh,
It must.
Yes?
It must.
Yeah, spit it out, man.
Killed!
The whole thing, please.
It must be killed.
You know, I think I've got a little salve in my ear, Roger. I'm gonna need it one more time.
It must be
You
killed.
know, my hearing's not quite what it used to be. A little louder, please.
Oh, it must be killed.
What must be killed?
The elephant.
The what?
Mary! Oh, Mary must be killed!
Well, why didn't you say so? I thought you might be impelled to feel this way. Outside, you'll find a number of arms donated for your little freak show to go get her. Now go get her.
Did you blame yourself?
For what?
No, for the fire?
No.
Well, you offered him the cigarette.
It was an accident. Besides, he didn't blame me.
I know.
He blamed you.
I
mean,
know.
none of this would have happened if it wasn't for you, and he wouldn't have fallen out of that boat. If it
What
wasn't
about
for
the
you.
man who shot me?
You survived.
Or what about Blake?
No.
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 Whose
no,
fault
don't
was
even
it that the
try
river was
and
toxic?
do that. I've heard it all before. I'm
Yeah.
not hearing it from you, all right?
Yes.
That road was towed a long time ago.
By his mother.
Damn, now shut the hell up about it. Blake's fault. You want to know what's Blake's fault? It's Blake's fault that there's anyone alive in this world that knows a damn thing about Irvinville. It's Blake's fault that there's a little piece of Irvinville in every nickel, dime, and quarter in this country. It's Blake's fault that there's anyone alive in this city today.
Is there anyone still alive?
You know what I mean. All this talk about air and water and Blake, it's all just crazy talk. Just crazy. Right, though, I forgot. You like crazy. Crazy is where your home is.
I'm afraid I don't know what that word means.
Crazy?
Crazy.
You know, crazy, like not normal,
Normal.
not right,
Right.
not right in the head, you know, like a clown. Yeah, like a damn clown, you know, always hanging around, like making a fool of himself, the baggy pants and the makeup and the wig, always just hanging around, not saying nothing, just watching all the time.
So crazy is always watching.
No, well, maybe. Well, no, not exactly. Crazy people think different than others. It's like a crazy person can't help but think different than others. Won't listen to reason. You're crazy.
I don't think I think different from others. I don't think I'm crazy.
Yeah, well, believe me, you are.
And what happens to crazy? Jackson. Excuse me.
No.
Excuse me.
Not now.
Excuse me.
Sit down, Mom.
Look, I know we are all really riled up, but
Please stop.
I need to call your attention to the drastic changes in the air and the water since the sink works up production.
Mrs. Sallow, now is neither the time nor the place to be making such slanderous accusations.
Slanderous against who?
Mr. Blick is a fine man, one of the finest and wealthiest in town. Your employer, if I'm not mistaken, to assert that he has been tainting the town in which he himself lives, would be next to seditious.
Seditious? Mr. Mayor, I'm not saying that. Mr. Blick, he's a fine man, he's a good employer. It wouldn't surprise me if he's unaware of the effect he's having on the town, but he's having an effect on the town.
You're referring to him bringing wealth and notoriety to our fair city and employing over 100 people?
I'm referring to people getting sick all over. I am one of them. I find myself winded, dizzy, it's hard to concentrate.
Maybe, Mrs. Sallow, that is due to your feminine constitution. A woman such as yourself, a mother, shouldn't be toiling away in some factory. It's unbecoming.
It is not just me. It is those around me, the people in the mines. They have a
Dangers of a job they knowingly signed up for.
Yes, and everyone else. My daughter has still not recovered from the circus.
And that's Mr. Blick's fault.
And you, I mean, look at yourself. You wouldn't have been so burned if the river wasn't so toxic.
To assert that Mr. Blick controls the weather, the water.
Look at these. Look at the curtains. A month ago, when we hung them, they were all white, and now they're damn near black.
Leave it to a woman to get all riled up over some dirty curtains.
Ask the doctor.
Not the damn doctor.
Ask Dr. Vertondo.
Yes, Dr. Vertondo. Have you witnessed anything that would substantiate Miss Sallow's hysterical accusations?
I can confirm an uptake of the symptoms that have been mentioned by Miss Sallow. I can't say with any surety what the cause is.
There you have it.
Why would you gamble our lives?
Exactly. Why should we sit idly by and wait for that terrapin to strike again? Let us take up arms and dole out the justice that beast deserves.
But
speak again, and I will have you thrown out of here myself.
Oh, I'd like to see you try.
Well, I'd never lay such stern hands on a lady.
I thought so.
Even one as raving as her. So someone else will have to do it for me. You, Clyde. You, Marcus. Wilfred. And you.
Me?
You.
No.
Yes.
Me?
You.
I...
Who the hell are you?
Well...
I've never in my life seen this man. Does anyone know this man? Is this anyone's neighbor? It's the clown. What the hell do you think you're doing here, clown man? Your circus skipped town, didn't you hear?
Yeah.
Took off to Merritt, broke our guns, left us defenseless against your big buddy. What's saying?
Oh, no, it's true. They scattered to the four winds, but I could not leave. It would not be right.
You're gonna tell us about right and wrong.
No, I just want to help.
Great! Grab the net behind home plate of the ball field. Gather anything that resembles a weapon and meet at the foot of Cooper's Hill in 30 minutes. Not you, clown. You're coming with me.
Well, where are we going?
To get you into costume.
Oh.
I had never seen Galoots in a state like this before. His makeup was smeared across his face into this demented smile. They had glued his wig onto his head askew. His clown white ran red. Now he had been soaking, he was even sobbing, so he was soaked, and his pants were filled with fruits and vegetables. Now, I didn't know. I had no idea what they had done or why he was there. All I saw was my friend weeping like a child on a pile of leaves. So I ran my trunk up his side, and he wouldn't even look at me. Forgive me, Mary. Forgive me. I snatched a grapefruit from his pants and I gobbled it, and then a head of lettuce, and then I lifted him by the foot, and the contents of his pants spilled out onto the forest floor, and then he began to wail, "Run, Mary, run!" But it was too late.
That's right. The net comes up all around you and you're screaming and hollering and thrashing about.
Galoots was thrown clear. He was safe.
And we have you.
Now, there was a man in this mob. He was a tracker named Hans. Hans had built for Blurgis this enormous cage.
Right, think about 250 square feet, like
Maybe
the
like-
size of the red part of the carpet, actually.
Ish, sort of like that. And they were all poking her. And they were jabbing her with these blades. Smith was beside himself.
I'm gonna cut you. I'm gonna cut
And
you.
there was this guy who kept screaming.
Holy shit. Holy mother of shit. Holy shit.
And Mary was pressed into this cage. It was so tight, her skin was spilling out between the bars. Her trunk was smashed against her face, and it was stuffed with grass and with glue. This is too much. Oh, this is too much. Get back, you things.
She's wild, boys. She's a wild one. Let's haul her in.
And then?
I don't remember. It's like, I drank too much. It's all fuzzy.
Don't remember. I remember. They dragged my cage down Main Street at just past midnight, and everybody was out on their porches and at their windows.
People of IRVINVILLE, behold, the beast, the terrapin, is beneath my heels. Join us as we deliver justice upon this 10-ton monstrosity. For even here, in the face of our righteous revenge, we extend constitutional rights even to this 10-ton murderess. Open the doors.
They opened the doors, and I smelled the sweat and the smoke, heard the noise. There are so many of them in there. They're pouring in the door, falling in the windows, hanging from rafters. Now, Kevin and I, we have some very specific details about how this trial actually went down, so we would like to try to get those exactly right.
Right, so the trial took place in the recently rebuilt church. It was so new that sap bled from the wood. There were over 200 people in there, and they were all lined up on either side of the room.
Mary's cage was dragged into the room and bolted down to the floor, maybe about here.
Yes, and people were climbing pillars to get a good view. They pounded their hands together, hollered, and cheered.
And outside, spilling into the streets and the alleyways and up columns, legs dangling over rooftops, there were hundreds, maybe 1,000, maybe as many as 2,000 people there listening to updates shouted down the line.
And Galoots stood alone by Mary's cage here, shielding her from rotten produce and rocks.
Kevin and I found a letter that said that Lucius wanted to preside over the whole thing, but Blick went behind his back the day before they caught Mary and summoned a different judge.
Yes, a man born in 1839 named Oscar, who, while actually a lawyer turned judge, was nearly 100 years old. When Mary was dragged in, Oscar was already asleep and remained so through the entire trial.
Oscar, he sat on a stool and he slept over a barrel, kind of comes up, and to his left was a chair for the witnesses, and to his right there was a chair for the scribe.
Winmer was the scribe.
Yes.
A jury of 12 men was arranged here.
Everything sort of got kicked off when Lucius, he leapt from the top of the cage to the prosecutor's table, tearing his skin in a dozen places under his new red suit.
People of IRVINVILLE, I don't need to tell you what this offense to God has done to us. Just look around. Look at the person next to you. Look at yourselves. Look at me. Look around for those people who are no longer here because they crossed paths with Mary. Mary the malevolent. Mary the murderer. Mean Mary. She's passed judgment on our neighbors, swift and brutal. Do your duty. Extend the same courtesy to her.
When Galoots saw that nobody was going to speak on Mary's behalf, he began to talk, but as he did so, he began to cough. He tried to cough louder, but then the jury began to cough, and then the whole room. So whatever he said, those words are lost.
When Galoots returned to Mary's cage, a single member of the jury sprang to his feet and shouted, "Guilty!" He turned to his fellow jurors who began to nod and rise and guilty. Guilty!
Lucius, he grabbed the gavel and he slammed it down.
Their sentence is death.
And a cheer erupted from the crowd and nearly brought the whole place down.
Everyone throws their hats up into the air, and I'm somehow squeezed up by the crowd, and I float on top of them as they pour out the front door and flood into the streets. It's fun, like a ride.
They come back for me in the first gloomy hours of day, and they take the chains and they drag me out of the building. They're strangely distant now. They're not hitting me or throwing things at me. They're singing or they're chanting. I can't tell which. Galoots keeps his hand on my head here the whole time. And we round the corner.
The corner of 3rd and Meadow,
And there it
the
is.
Methuselah tree.
What have they done?
We tore it out by the roots and shipped it down to the city center and replanted it. And hanging from the lowest bough, Mary,
There's a circle of chain.
a noose,
And there's a
a
stage.
gallows.
They push my cage to the edge of the stairs and unlatch the door in my belly. Oh, it spills out. I can breathe, but they put their blades back into me. They pull Galoots away, and they force me up the stairs.
And you tear and sob up every step.
Wrong, boy. I told you before, I am not afraid. My eye is gone. My tusks have been removed. My tendons are cut. My hide is holes, and I stride up that platform.
Now they have to drag you.
You know nothing! at the top of the platform, I look down. I look down on this organism that has spread itself before me. It is heaving against the buildings. It is seething like bile. The sun is just beginning to come up over the hill. I feel that cold chain around my neck, and I look at all the pulsing eyes, and I find... What do I find, boy?
Me? You find me?
That's right.
I'm at the foot of the gallows. My neck is craned, looking up.
And I am looking down.
At me?
Yes. It's quiet.
Yes. Your stare. It's an abyss. It presses into me.
Crack. Listen. That crack. It splits the mob, hurtles around the hills, and it streaks across the sky. My bowels drop onto the earth, and it's the biggest applause of the night. They are all hooting and cheering and hollering and firing off into the air and singing and jumping and jumping. This one man, he runs from the crowd, jumps over my shit and stops my hide, and then another, and then another, and then the howling. I see a boy in the front. His neck is craned. He's looking up at me. He runs up the stairs, past the sheriff, around Blurgis, and grabbing the chain, he leaps onto my head. With the other hand, he thrusts a fist into the sky. The crowd erupts again. Galoots tries to grab him, but he is too slow. The boy jumps off and he falls 20 feet from my head onto the ground below.
He rolls his ankle and he doesn't even notice. He's already walking. The whole crowd is walking.
Circling, they are orbiting the gallows.
Walking and then running.
Running, and then they begin jumping.
And howling in all directions. Howling, sprinting now.
The air is hot and heavy and moist over this throng. Galoots, he retreats to the tree and he begins to climb. The smells of blood and booze and sweat and shit hang heavy over the mob. And then fragments begin to fling themselves from the spinning.
People, they're people in 2s and 3s and 4s and groups, holding hands and moving off from the mass up the hills, through the trees, towards the river, in all directions, howling.
A hand grabs yours.
It's Hannah Mosel. She was my classmate before the job, a grade higher than me.
She wants you to go with her.
Our eyes meet, and suddenly we're cutting through the densest part of the howling whirlwind. We break through the wet heat, into the cool morning air, into the shade of the canopy, running alongside others, peeling off in all directions, rocks, branches, the very forest itself tearing at our clothes until we fall into the leaves and collapse into one another. And then a howl, unlike any that preceded, thunders through the woods surrounding the town, hits us like a wall of steam, takes away any apprehension, any fear, any sense of self, embraces me in the collective.
The next day, newspapers all around the country have on their front page the picture of Mary hanged in the straining sunlight against the smokestacks with the victorious child on her head.
Lucius,
Yes,
we've come to the time where we and you take a break.
we will take a break here at the end of part 1 for 10 minutes, and we thank you very much for being with us.